Alright, we have the Jaguar IS. This is an 11.0 British event vehicle for the most recent event over here. It is basically a Jaguar GR Mark 1B, but with Magic 2s instead of AIM-9Gs, and it only has one cannon instead of two. One Aiden on the left side. It still is a Jaguar, which means it's kind of an attack plane. It's not great for sim battles. However, you can take out 1,000-pound snake eyes, 500-pound bombs, some guided bombs, and more importantly, a Lightning 2 tracking pod, which can come useful. The loadout I would recommend, honestly, for this thing is the tracking pod to magics, and then if you feel like doing some bombing, maybe like a guided bomb or a few. This thing is probably best on 11.3 matchmaking days. Right now, there's no 11.0 matchmaker because Gaijin just straight up removed it. So that's unfortunate, but if you can manage to get an 11.3 match, that's probably your best bet. The cockpits overall seems rather similar to Jaguar GR Mark 1. You've got your targeting camera there. Pretty nice HUD, very similar to the Harriers. And the rear visibility is pretty bad, honestly. Not great. The fuel load is 50 minutes. The Jaguar is reasonably fuel efficient because it's got pretty small engines. So that should last you for quite a good while. I think the biggest failing of this aircraft is that it only has 2 missiles and no radar, and its RWR is not good enough to warrant not having other things. Like, compared to something like the AMX A11, which has a fantastic RWR, there's like no good way to IFF targets with this thing. Of all the HUDs in the game, I think the Jaguar and the Harrier HUD is probably one of the best. Everything about it is just really nice. The reticle is fine. It's just good. If you end up taking the targeting pod out, you can use that to try and spot people. It's not great, you don't have a ton of zoom, but you can try and find people like that. What is that? That's an F5, and we're fighting Germany and whatnot, so that's a friendly. So it's good in that sense, right? You can visually ID targets you might not normally be able to with just your eyeballs. You do get countermeasures. I think you get 60 or so flares, which is pretty nice. It's a little low for 11.0, but if you get any, honestly, that's a blessing in most planes. That's a Tomcat, right? So scenarios like that, it's useful because you can ID things and hopefully not send a Magic 2 at your friendly Tomcat in a head-on, but like having a radar would just be so much better. Unfortunately, I don't think there was ever a Jaguar variant with a radar. From what I can tell, the fuel gauges are completely inoperable, do not work. Haven't the slightest clue of how much fuel I have, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, unfortunately with this thing, most of your matches will be spent flying around hoping to find an enemy and then shooting one of your 2 missiles and returning back to base. I really don't recommend going toe-to-toe with something like a MiG-21 or a Draken with a single Aiden in your Jaguar. If you guys want me to cover the Jaguar more in the future, let me know down in the comments, but I'm planning to make more videos on the Alpha Jet that's coming out and a bunch of the planes in the new Hungarian subtree for Italy. Anyways, have a good one.